now, the coming soon status and then active, and how do those play into this process of onboarding new listings. So Shannon, Jennifer, you guys okay with getting going?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let me, oops. I need to be able to share my screen.
Are you able to hear me okay, Joe?
Yes, we can hear you great, Jeff.
Oh, fantastic. I'm using my phone, so still get used to it for that. But it works.
Terrific. Now it's working well. Okay, so is everyone seeing the successful listing onboarding page there? Okay, great. Okay, so quick just review. Under this new clear cooperation policy, we've got a registered status where we have claimed the listing effectively. We have an effective listing agreement. We have all signatures. It's ready to go. We put it in the MLS. No one can see it, but we've claimed it. We've locked it in. It's ours. Then we go to coming soon status for a maximum 21 days. We can expose the property, let people know it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Can't see it yet, can't see it yet. Okay, go. And we've got that massive flood of energy and activity that very first weekend, that very first day, and then we go active. So just again, remembering under registered status, we have the ability to market the property within the brokerage. We can show the property to listing brokerage clients as long as we have a signed AD form. But we have no days on market. There's no distribution to the MLS. No one else can see it except the listing agent, a co-listing agent, the manager, and the broker are the only people that can see that. Then during coming soon, there's absolutely zero showings, no showings whatsoever. But we can have a sign out. You can do social media. You can do print marketing. You can do any kind of marketing advertising you want to do. There'll be limited distribution through the MLS, and for clarity, that means that only if the recipient of the IDX feed, of the data feed from the MLS, if they have a category or a status of coming soon, then it will be distributed. But if they do not have the ability to mark that listing as coming soon, it will not hit that subscriber or that IDX feed. And then, of course, active. So considering those statuses and those categories, what do we see as the proper use? What's the purpose of having a property in registered status but not yet in coming soon or active? What do we want to accomplish during that time to really prepare this property for its best showing once it hits the market? And then what do we do to prepare our marketing during that time frame? So we're going to open this up for discussion. Everybody unmute as you want to jump in, but go ahead and jump in anywhere we want to go. We want to talk about the registered status. What do we do during that phase? The coming soon status, and then when we go active, what does that mean?
Well, Joe, I think one of the things that I've noticed with my couple of latest listings was the new, Ready Promo dashboard that activates within the VAC 2.0. But I think it's difficult that it activates when it goes active. Ideally, it'd be nice if, to prepare for whatever we need to do, if it actually went active when we either put it in registered or coming soon. So that would give us enough time to actually, play with the marketing pieces, do whatever we need to do, to start getting, the postcards ready, preparing, showing flyers, because if I'm in registered status and I can't do anything with it, really, I'd still like to be working on, the coming soon flyers, or, if I'm in coming soon, I'd like to be able to work on, active. So that way, the day that we really go live, I can impress my sellers and have all that stuff ready to go. Because right now it's, people ask, well, when are my flyers going to go out there? And I say, okay, well, as soon as we go active, give me a little time, it'll all kind of sync up with my system, and then I'll be back, to load your flyer box. So I think we could be a little more prepared.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think we all agree with that. And let me explain one of the things is with this clear cooperation policy that came out, not every state has interpreted those rules the same. And so, for example, in Arizona, the interpretation is that during coming soon, you still can't do any marketing. You could have a property that's coming soon and have maybe a sign on the lawn with a rider on it saying coming soon, but you couldn't do the expansive marketing that's intended during that coming soon phase. So we're working on trying to create that, I guess, differential of interpretation state by state. So since VAC 2.0 was rolled out over 3 states, they're trying to manage to the lowest common denominator. But there's 2 things I agree with you. One, it'd be nice to be able to have the ready promo as soon as you've got your photos in. Now, registered status, if we look at that, the requirement for registered status is very limited. You have to have an address, listing contract date, the price, expiration date, and marketing start date. You don't have to have any photos in there and things like that yet, but a good discussion is, why not start putting all that stuff in there during that registered status? How long should we have it in registered status? How long do we need? Do we need 3 days, 5 days, 7 days? And what do we do? We're going to take back the ready promo feedback and see if we can do something about having that activated sooner. But also AdWorks integrates now with SkySlope, and AdWorks will kick off its campaign upon going active. And love to hear the feedback of this group as to when would you rather see that AdWorks campaign kick off, at coming soon, day 1, or active, day 1?
And for me, excuse me, for Veronica and I, we, excuse me, typically, we always, our first goal is to try to get the listing. So typically, we have always used the exclusion form for 2 weeks to have our postcards ready, have our pictures, have our professional photographer in there and everything. So that, for us, registered status is the same thing as the CRMLS. We have not used the coming soon yet. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
And we haven't used AdWords.
Okay.
So I'll chime in on that. Definitely, I can see the value in utilizing AdWorks in the coming soon feature of, speaking to the limited distribution through the MLS versus the registered status. To be able to really show the sellers that, look at this ramp up, we have so many eager buyers, kind of puts them at ease, because I've had quite a few listing appointments that I've been on that I've got contingencies that my sellers are nervous. How quickly is this going to happen for me? Am I going to be competitive in the marketplace to be able to purchase while also facilitating a sale? And so I think that that would be lovely if we could have AdWorks really sync up to capitalize on the coming soon. I think that that would be really, really valuable to kind of putting people at ease that your home is desirable in this market, and let me speak to this. I'll show you why.
Sure.
I guess my question is, we have the coming soon status and it's good for 21 days. So if you run your AdWorks from the get-go and you truly are 21 days coming soon, are we shooting ourselves in the foot by maybe advertising at the first 7 days or within the first 10 days, and then we still have 2 more weeks? It's just something to think about, because I think we could edit the ad to say coming soon. We could edit the ad to say whatever we want, but just something to think about.
Certainly. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the other thing with the registered status, and I've mentioned this at our office meetings, is in registered status, we can put it in buy side. So something to think about, because it's within our brokerage. Is that correct, Joe? It's not all Berkshire brokerages, it's just ours.
Right. It's the buy side would go in there, would be visible beyond a little bit, but primarily the people that would be looking are the people working in our area who are our licensees. So under the registered status, they've gone on to define that as under the actual brokerage license. So for in our case, our Yorba Linda office couldn't come down and show it during registered status because they're under a different brokerage license. They're under the AC 2015 Corporation instead of AC Palm Desert. But everyone within Palm Desert, which is our Temecula Valley and all of our desert offices, could absolutely show those listings during the registered status. So buy side would absolutely be something smart to do. Certainly. what are the things, again, well, let's just talk about how many, or anyone just chime in, how important do you feel having a property in registered status for a few days to get ready to launch it strongly on day one? How important is that? And do you have clients that say, no, I don't want to wait a week, let's just get the thing on the market today? Can you walk them through some of the ideas of staging? So for example, some of my pet peeves were full closets. You know, to make a closet look spacious, you've got to empty some things out. So I always delivered a couple of wardrobe boxes and some medium-sized boxes to help people get things off the surface and start emptying out the boxes. So as soon as we took the listing, the next day I came back with some boxes, said, hey, this is a great time to take out your off-season clothes, make your closet look a lot more spacious. So do you engage this type of counseling with your clients, and how much time is appropriate? You've claimed the listing, you've put it in the MLS, no one else can have it, but you're going to give your client 5 days, 7 days, 10 days to properly prepare the home, maybe take care of some of the suggestions you've had. What does that time frame look like for each of you?
For us, it's, excuse me, for us, it's about 2 weeks, because what's important to us, and our clients appreciate it, is the fact that they have time to prepare the house. Then we have the professional photographer come in, and when it actually hits active, it's ready to go. Postcards out, everything. And so when it goes into the, you know, the internet, everything, it's just, it all hits at one time. And we typically give the 2 weeks, and our clients appreciate it. We do. And we do go through the home and give them tips on everything.
And Gail, with the coming soon status being fairly new to our market, do you go straight from registered, or what we used to be like exclusion, straight to active, or are you utilizing the coming soon right now?
We are not using the coming soon. We are using, if we would do registered status, we've always used the exclusion form, and then bam,
Straight.
get it. Our feeling on it is that, like, well, I know coming soon is a great status. You can't really show it or anything, and it does give people anticipation and things like that. But for us, the registered status, it just gives it more pop when it comes on the market. That's just our personal opinions, you know, is having everything. Because we have our just listed postcards ready to go, everything, so that it all hits on the same day. But, you know, we are, you know, we're old girls in the old market and how to do things. And so, you know, I'm sure that we will start using coming soon once we understand more and more and more and more. So
I actually just used coming soon on one of my latest listings that's getting ready to close. And I was really, well, for my intent of using the coming soon was so that I could put the sign out in the front and let the sign sit there for as long as possible while my clients were getting ready. And Joe, to address your question about, you know, whether or not we give people time, yeah, I always go with the assumption, and in the olden days, I used to always go with the SELM as part of my paperwork, or the CRMLS exclusion form. And I was always prepared to give people time depending on what I saw. So if I saw repairs that were needed, I'd probably say, you know, about 2 weeks, you know, we'll be ready, you know, call your roofer, call your whoever, you know, to take care of some of that stuff. If I wasn't seeing repairs and it was just more kind of thinning out the house and getting it ready for the showings, my assumption was that, you know, I'd be back in 1 week, you know, and then I'd be ready to take the pictures. And then it'd be up to them to tell me, oh, we're behind, and then I'd have to extend the exclusion. But I think that stuff, you know, is definitely really important. With the coming soon, you know, since we have to put it in the MLS, you know, in the coming soon status now, if you want that sign out in the front so that we can be totally compliant, for me, it was all about that sign. You know, I want that out there as long as possible, and especially because my latest, you know, 2 listings were both in my farm. And so I do want people to see, hey, you know, there's another one, you know, there's Chris again, and really take advantage of that extra marketing time. So I did coming soon. The sign was out there, and I got 2 calls off of it, 2 serious calls. I think I've got like 4 total, but 2 of them were people that were talking to me about, you know, having to sell their other house on the other side of town and possibly coming over. And man, I was thrilled, you know, because in this market, you know, things are kind of crazy, but you know, people, I don't know, maybe they're thinking they can call directly off the sign and talk straight to the listing agent, and that's going to give them the edge, you know, to maybe possibly get, you know, the house, because it's so competitive right now.
That's a
So,
good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point about the sign up.
Yeah, Chris, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly the kind of discussion we were thinking we'd have is that using that time to kind of build some energy would hopefully create an opportunity to leverage additional listings for people saying, hey, listen, I see you've got a listing coming on soon right there. We've been thinking about selling. Can you come over and talk to us? And some of those conversations, as well as capturing some of those buyer calls who are thinking they've got a better shot of working straight with the listing agent. And ultimately, Jill was sharing with us just as we were getting started about a listing that went live over this weekend, and just tons of showings, and 50 showings and 20 offers, that kind of thing. That's the kind of activity we think that could be generated with a coming soon, where you can't see it yet. Sorry, you can't see it. Can't see it. Can't see it. Okay, go. And you've got 1 or 2 days of crazy energy. The client is only disturbed and inconvenienced for 1 weekend. You've got 20 offers. You're done. You're a hero. They basically had a 2-day listing. To their impression, they had 2 days. But you got a week or 2 weeks while it was sitting in coming soon to market and leverage more business from it. Thoughts and comments on that?
I did put that listing, I think, just for 1 day in coming soon. And, that morning or late morning that it hit, I had calls like within 5 minutes. So people, agents were looking at it and knew exactly what day it was starting to be shown. So it worked.
I have a question about the coming soon, as far as how does that read on like Zillow or Redfin? Do they have a status for coming soon?
Mine
on
didn't
those
show on
sites?
Zillow.
Okay.
Yeah, so as this develops, those companies will absolutely develop a coming soon status so that they can absorb that feed. But until they actually have a specific coming soon status for those listings in that status, they can't receive that data. So as the two computers are communicating, one says, hey, do you have coming soon? No, I don't. Okay, you can't have this then. And so they're not feeding it through unless they can specifically put it in coming soon. They can't do an active or an off market status. So it won't be long, but very quickly, everybody who has an IDX feed will have a coming soon status and will be able to pick up those listings.
And as far as Zillow is concerned, only Premier agents can list coming soon? Is that right? Anybody know?
Oh dear.
That's a good question,
Well,
Shannon. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I advertise on Zillow myself, actually, but I have not checked into that. I've got to work on that.
So before we had registered status, because it was not available just yet until recently, we were using the coming soon time as this is our time to take all the photos and things like that. So now I feel like it's more than ever, it is important to do the registered status so that when the coming soon, which is now the new active, and all your photos and all your marketing is ready to go with a coming soon instead of the active. So it's definitely, we need to, utilize that time. Good feedback on all of that, you guys.
So I guess to that discussion, that's exactly what we were expecting to hear, is that the coming soon side is almost too late, because with the way the market is right now, people will start with as competitive as things are right now, people are going to start submitting offers sight unseen on your coming soons. And they'll go ahead and submit the offer and say, hey, listen, we know the square footage, we know the floor plan, we want a house, we'll take it. And so you're going to start seeing some of that happen, to where, again, our visibility and marketing potential is really only going to be that coming soon period. Within a day or two of going active, it's gone, if not before. So using the coming soon period as active marketing time rather than preparation time, I think is going to become more and more important. What other types of things do you do during this pre-active phase to prepare your listing? What are you doing? Are you let's say even if you're using Coming Soon now, are you putting anything out on social media? Are you doing a postcard campaign? Are you making phone calls into the neighborhood? What kind of activities are you doing during a Coming Soon phase?
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
During for every listing, we do registered, and the soonest that we ever list it is when the photographer, like 2 days after the photographer is available. And then anything else is particular to the individual listing, whether it be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, not 2 years, but 2 months. The one thing that we do during registered also is we have a going list for our community of anybody who has ever expressed interest to us that they wanted to buy in the community. So we're reaching out at that point to our own clients, whether that be my buyer's agent or Jill, and sell it to them. So we've sold listings in registered status with that list, never gone Coming Soon, never gone active. Because we're getting, I think we're allowed to show during registered to our own clients, right?
Correct.
So I don't want to say I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to. But so
silence.
yeah, so that's how we sell it during registered. When we do the Coming Soon, our plan is, because we haven't used it yet, but we would have it registered to like a Tuesday and then a Coming Soon for 2 days. And this is just an idea. And then in those 2 days, I love the idea with the sign. That will be extra time that we have the sign up. That's awesome. We want to do email blast, potentially to our database for the new listing. We want to blast it with social media on our own social media, our own Facebook. I mean, I'm not big into the Facebook and everything, but this is our idea: get the email, get the social media, and then also during the Coming Soon time for our community, we have a list of all the agents that have shown our other properties. So during the Coming Soon, we're reaching out to those agents who already have qualified buyers, trying to line them up because we know they're already qualified. Most of them I've already worked with. So we get the email, social media, other agents. And then my thought is for the Coming Soon, like Shannon said, was that you have everything in like it's an active listing. I think that's the only way to do it for the Coming Soon, because you don't want to market it without everything in it. And I always use the registered going straight to listing. So it will be registered going straight to Coming Soon, I guess, with everything. So I don't know, does everybody agree that you should have everything in by the Coming Soon, or are you finding success not having everything in the Coming Soon? And just, I mean, you're going to sell the listing probably no matter what in this market, but like to get yourself more leads.
I think all the photos and stuff are really important needed in the Coming Soon, not just one.
Absolutely, Todd. Definitely agree. Having everything prepared definitely makes an impression, especially if you have anticipation to blast out a postcard, especially being in an area that you consistently market to. I've been in positions where we go live and within same day, we've got a gazillion offers and I'm like, my gosh, I missed out on all this stuff because, we didn't have everything prepared in order to be able to capitalize on the next lead, the next listing, perhaps the next buyer.
What's the time period that people suggest having it Coming Soon to maximize that opportunity?
I have yet to have a client that wants to really go the full 21 days, based on their timelines, because on average for myself, I'm, in communication and preparatory stages with them for at least a month, sometimes 2, sometimes longer. So 21 days to me seems long. At that point, the house is ready. We've got all the marketing prepared. But yeah, I have yet to see a client that really wants to write out that full 21 days and just be eager just to get it going.
That's a good point. And I have some clients that part of their motivation, we've been going, well, over the last week, we took 4 listings and put them in registered status. I just wanted to kind of lock them down, and we took the listings, we put them in registered, but we have some sellers that don't want to wait too long with the coming soon. They want to get it done before the election, for example. So are you guys seeing that you have some sellers that just don't want to wait too long? They just want to hurry up and get it on the market. I mean, maybe take a week to prep it or 2 weeks, but they want to just go right to active. And they have different reasons, of course, but I've heard some sellers mention that, you know, they're a little concerned about the election and what have you. So have you guys seen anything like that?
Totally. I have some people who don't want to wait for my photographer.
Yes.
Go,
Okay.
go. Yeah, I think and I think some of this is counseling and coaching. We're in a different market right now. And yesterday we had a conversation about market shifts and inventory. And there's a lot of discussion right now, and people are concerned. They don't know what to think is going to come after the election. They don't know what to think. They don't want to wait too long and get over the crest and be on the downhill side of this. But there isn't any indicators that show that we've got a period of downturn coming for inventory or for prices or anything like that. So we don't see that. But again, the idea of maximizing exposure for the client as well as ourselves, the coming soon is a great opportunity to do that and to minimize the inconvenience and intrusion on the client. If we launch, and again, that kind of leads us to our next discussion, is what's the best day to go active where we launch showings and all that. You know, we take a listing today, we throw it in the MLS today, it's Thursday. What's going to happen this weekend? Well, in this market, it's going to get pretty busy. It's going to be a little hectic. It's going to be a little crazy. Your next 2 days, you're going to spend doing what? Booking appointments and fielding a bunch of PED forms, right? So Thursday, the rest of Thursday and all day Friday, you're going to be shuffling paper and booking appointments, right? So that's one of the other benefits of the coming soon, and explaining that to the clients that it's not as easy to get people in to show a property, that if we've got a coming soon going, we can start letting people know, hey, we're going to make this live on the 21st. So we're starting to schedule appointments for the 21st. What time would you like? I've got 10, 11, 11:15 and 12:45. Which one do you want? You know, and then we've got our clients say, okay, for these 2 days, just plan on being out of your home between 10 and 4. And we should be done. That should be the end of the showings. It should be the end of the marketing period. But with what we're dealing with right now, again, I think discussing when's the best day to go active and begin showings. Is it a Thursday?
Is it
a Wednesday?
Thursday?
Thursday?
It's Thursday. That's traditionally been the best day, correct? Unless it's changed to Wednesday now or anything. But I was thinking it would be Thursday, right?
Yeah, that's what statistics have shown, that homes sell faster and for more money when they're listed on when they go active on a Thursday. That was a NAR stat that came out last year. And then what does that look like in this environment? So if you're going to go live on a Thursday, do you start telling people you're going to go live on a Thursday when you've got it coming soon? How do you get that word out so that you start booking appointments a week prior instead of having a chaotic Thursday, Friday, trying to book PEDs and appointments for 3 listings?
I think in the MLS, you could put what the date it's going to go active in, or in the MLS. So that will be helpful for you guys if you actually stay true to that date.
Yeah, and the last one that I did with the coming soon, you know, I didn't get actually any agent calls for appointments while it was in the coming soon status. It wasn't until it actually flipped active for, you know, leading up to the weekend that all of a sudden I got all the agent calls. So I don't know if that's because, buyers aren't really noticing it when it's in coming soon, whatever websites they're using, until it actually flips active and then they go nuts, contacting their agent, or if it's like the agents and how they're kind of watching things, if they're, got people on automated drips or whatever, that email doesn't go out about that new listing until it actually flipped active because they haven't chosen the coming soon stuff. Because yeah, ideally, man, my life would have been so much easier if the week leading up they were actually calling me and kind of peppering me with the requests and the PED forms and all that. You're right, as opposed to just waiting until it went active and then, of course my phone lights up like crazy, and then I'm just bombed that whole day setting up the weekend appointments. So I don't know, Joe, if there's anything that we can do about that. But yeah, Shannon, it when you put it in coming soon, it does ask you what is the day, that it's going to go active. And then it actually shows that on the MLS listing, to the public is the day that the showings are officially going to start. But I don't think it really helped me at all, for scheduling purposes.
I think you're right. I agree that there's agents who do not send out the coming soon listings to their buyers. I don't know what the deal is, if they're just don't want to have to deal with telling them, sorry, that one's not yet, that one's not yet, that one's not yet. But the clients can see it says coming soon and when the active showing date is. I only think that the other thing that possibly we could do is in the agent remarks, maybe the agents are looking and say, schedule your showings now for Thursday. Well, like Joe said, we'll be showing between, this time and this time beginning on Thursday.
I was thinking the same thing in the showing instructions to put, please schedule your appointments now. Don't wait until it goes active.
I got a question for you, Joe, about this, about the statuses. Do you see that the status is like active, registered, coming soon, and active? Do you think that the coming soon status is going to be with us for quite some time? Do you think that it's going to stay the way that it is right now for a while?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that the CAR has already acknowledged that they're facing is violations of the coming soon. In fact, if you look at the MLS page, they've got a big old alert saying, report marketing violations here. But one of the things that's happening is agents are trying to sneak in during the coming soon status, either agents in their office or they're calling up and wanting to do a preview. And they say, well, I'm not going to bring my clients. I just want a preview. Can I get in there? And someone says, well, yeah, go ahead. And they're letting people get in. So that's one of the issues. But this all came about from the NAR clear cooperation policy. And I do believe that there's going to be some tweaks to it coming out of the fall meetings. There's some things on the agenda to be discussed, but it's mostly related to communication and making clear what's allowed and what's not allowed during these phases. They're pretty committed to the coming soon status. The registered status meets primarily one requirement, which is the exclusive listings. So if you take a listing that's exclusive to the brokerage, no one else can sell it, no one else can show it, only the brokerage and their agents can show it. That exclusive listing stays in registered status to the end. And that was the primary purpose of that. But also to get rid of the exclusion form and that process by just saying, hey, you've notified us by registering your listing. We know it's there. We don't need the exclusion form anymore. You don't need the SELM form anymore unless it is an exclusive listing. You don't need the SELM or SLEM form anymore. So, but yeah, short, I don't see it going away. In fact, there'll be some tweaks to it, but it'll still be here.
Okay, good.
All right, so I know some of you have some procedures, some checklists that you use as a part of this onboarding process. Do you have it divided up by these stages yet? Have you taken it and broken it down and said, okay, before the listing, I'm going to do this and this and this, recon the neighborhood, preview other listings. What am I going to do? Start blitzing the neighborhood. If you've ever noticed, on cable TV or any TV channel, you start seeing ads for a company you've never seen before. Like right now it's Cracker Barrel. We don't have a Cracker Barrel around here, but we're gonna, because if they're advertising in the area, they're coming. So if you've got a listing coming in a neighborhood, wouldn't you go ahead and blitz that neighborhood with a postcard or some kind of mailing in advance before they see your sign, so they tie the two together? So just want to ask you, as your onboarding process, do you have these things broken out by these phases yet? No, not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
No, not yet. I'd like to, but I'm not at that point yet.
So how can we help facilitate this? The most important part of these workshops is for us to help all of you make that become a reality. If you have checklists, great. If you don't have an onboarding checklist, you just kind of wing it. You've done it long enough, you just kind of do it on the fly. That's great, but it's hard. Keeping everything in your head hurts. I'm starting to get as much stuff on paper as I can, because keeping everything in my head it's not as fun as it used to be. So getting stuff to paper, can we help you get a checklist, and how do we do that? How do we help everyone build a checklist first of all, and then break it into these categories?
And I love the idea of the checklist. I think that would be very helpful to have something like that to kind of just refer to and keep on track and make it more efficient. So yeah, I'm all for the checklist. I'd be welcoming it with open arms.
I have to agree, Joe. Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joe, the VAC 2.0 really opened my eyes when the Ready Promo dashboard appeared, because when it first popped up there and I said, what the heck is this? And I clicked on it, and it's these activities that we're talking about, but they were tied to the automation piece of it. So I could say, oh, there's my flyer. Oh, there's my postcard. Oh, there's my little social media post. Oh, and then, so it's not shown there like, step 1, step 2, or pre-marketing or whatever. But essentially, when I went into the dropdown, it's like, oh, dang, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And it's pretty quick. And one thing that I had mentioned to Chris Weeder was, I was a little bummed that when my listing went pending, in my last one, even out here in San Jacinto, 24 showings over the weekend with 12 offers Monday morning, I was slammed that weekend. So it went pending like that, right? In 3 days. I didn't even have time to get my postcards out. I flipped it pending. I went to go do my postcards. As I said, 3 days on the market, the neighborhood's not going to know that it's already pending. I can still send out my just listed postcards. Disappeared. Just gone from the Ready Promo dashboard because I had flipped it into, pending status. And so what I mentioned to him was, hey, that's kind of a bummer, because I could still utilize the tools that are there in the Ready Promo dashboard now as pending tools, like, in escrow in 3 days, look at me, I'm an amazing agent, kind of a thing. And once again, I could go through social media posts. I could go through creating a door hanger. I could go through some of those parts and pieces, a postcard. And it just ultimately disappeared. So like if we have and think about it, like sold. So if the Ready Promo dashboard after it's sold, like has a block of things that you could do, like now send your sold postcard, now send your sold social media, all of that amazing stuff that now we don't have to design anymore, because it's just, it appears automatically, when we change it in the status in the MLS. I think effectively that's kind of like how you're walking through the process. And now with the registered and the coming soon, it's like if that Ready Promo dashboard unlocks certain activities that we can do during those times, then, as a seasoned agent, as a newer agent, I don't have to put too much thought into it. I just have to come back and revisit it. And then the activities have changed, based off of the new status. And, oh, by the way, here's my new marketing piece. That's voila, magically made, ready to go, and all I got to do is click the button. Now, whether they appear like during those different times, like coming soon promo dashboard, and then it disappears to active promo dashboard, then it disappears to pending, or whether it just opens up as a menu, and I can see them all at different phases. I don't know what that looks like, but I think the power of the VAC 2.0, the fact that everybody is, kind of excited about it and is getting introduced to it, I think it's just natural that all of this stuff kind of ties in there, and it helps you know, the marketing piece to kind of flow as you go through those different stages.
Love that. That's excellent input. I just made some notes here. I think if we could take the ready promo and, like you said, drop down a menu and see it in a coming soon, all those pieces as a coming soon, all those pieces as a new listing, as an in escrow, and as a just sold, those 4 statuses would give you the ability to hit those 4 times, 4 social media posts out of that one listing. I love that.
Yeah, Joe, we need to kind of get together and kind of pronounce or get this into Mark's, you know, situation and get Ken involved and see if we can make this happen, because that's a brilliant idea.
I wanted to just take a second. Let me put something else up on the screen here for a second. Can you see this spreadsheet now? Okay. This is a timeline worksheet that we've used for years. And right here in this space right here, if we were to put in 8/15, and you'll see all these dates down here that are activities that are coming. As soon as you hit enter, everything changes. And so we'd had a discussion about, as we get this checklist going, let's say that this was an active date or a listing taken date of 9/7, and everything down here represented activities to be done. If all these items were on a checklist and you had a spreadsheet like this, where all you had to do is type in the listing date, and it says, okay, and maybe down here you type in, okay, we're going to do coming soon for 8 days, and we're going to do, you know, registered for 12 days. Would that be something that you'd use or find valuable?
I don't know about me personally, but new agents, absolutely. We get it all the time in our office. You know, like, hey, I'm trying to figure things out, and when am I supposed to send this, and what am I supposed to do? And yeah, and then as far as the dates and stuff, I don't know if there's integration where, again, if this is in the VAC, you know, and you've got that listing that kind of pops up, and you could click into it, and the VAC can read when the listing was taken automatically. So there's the date, and it pre-fills in all of the pre-marketing dates for you. Then you're good to go. And then aside from that, when it goes pending, then yeah, you're going to have to put in, you know, obviously the contract acceptance date, or maybe it can read that from the MLS when it goes pending. But then you would, you know, obviously have to put in, you know, 30-day escrow, 45-day escrow. I don't know that the VAC would be able to read that estimated close of escrow date, you know, that you got to type into the MLS. Maybe it can. And if it can read all that stuff, then, you know, you don't even have to put the thought into filling in those dates, because they'll just fill in automatically. You know, if the VAC people can pull that data directly from our own MLS listings.
Yeah, it's pulling the data in now, and I think they could write that code. We just have to see if they could have that code then drop it into a form. I'm not sure about that integration. We'll have to see if that would work. Sure.
Hey, Joe, we would definitely use that, especially for our onboarding and new agents on the team, because this is what we want. We want to be able to figure out what our system is and then duplicate it for everybody on the team. So I would love to have that Excel sheet to be able to move around for our own activities, and I'd share it. But yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. And then we want to kind of take it a step further, where after we complete it, like some lenders send out the notifications like, hey, you've been through underwriting. We want to start sending those notifications out to our clients. Like, hey, you've got your offer accepted. Here's the next step. And then list the next couple of steps and keep them informed. Automated notifications, sort of like easy button real estate, using these kind of checklists with timelines, and then just do everything the same. I mean, I know you can't do everything the same with every transaction, because every transaction is different, but yeah, I would love to get a copy of that and utilize that.
Certainly. That escrow sheet that was there, would any of you or all of you feel that that would be valuable to have access to again? For tracking escrow timeframes? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we'll share that out. And then, yeah, I'd love to convert that into the listing side of this as well. Okay.
Yeah, I think that the on the listing side, if we were to make a listing version, the only thing is that when we're in the coming soon phase, or I should say the registered status, everything is, you know, all marketing. So when is it due? Now.
No.
And maybe that's helpful enough. Just say, hey, now, not tomorrow, not next week, now, get on it.
At least that's listed there is these are the things I do for my listing, and the completion date column is really important to, you know, especially if you're on a team, somebody filling that in saying, did it, you know.
I'd have like a listing form, like a tracking form. It's no big deal if you have one, but if you get like multiple listings at a time, just like listing dates, listing paperwork to TC, photos ordered, photos taken, entered in the MLS, sign installed, lockbox buyers, and I just like check everything as I go. And that's been helpful to me lately.
Great. Yeah, when you start onboarding multiple listings at a time, it's easy to get lost in what's been done for which file. I thought I sent you that. No, you sent me the one for this one. I still need that one. So that's great, Jill.
And I kind of carry it through the whole escrow, you know, home inspection ordered, home inspection complete, repairs done. So it's just like every little thing. And kind of from when I first made this form, I've now added other stuff that I need to redo it, but it's helpful.
Yeah, when I was an agent, I had a big whiteboard that I had put the chart tape grid on, and the same thing, each thing that happened, like you said, home inspection, wood pest inspection, clearance, everything was a different line item, so I could check them off and see at any time on my wall what the status of that listing was. Yeah. Okay. Love that. So what is the expectation of these efforts of working within the registered status, working within coming soon? What would you expect the benefit to, one, your client be, and then two, to yourself from a marketing and business expansion? Again, the whole focus of this discussion is to try and get business out of business. So what does your client get the benefit of? How do you take that testimonial and that result and leverage it? And then what additional business do you expect to get from this?
I think having the coming soon sign writer and stuff would be good, because I mean, for years, I very rarely get a sign call. Everybody has an app on their phone, so they don't really need to call. So I think that might help, you know, get more sign calls like we used to.
Okay.
Absolutely agree, Joe, with Jill. Coming soon by leveraging the sign, but also the ease, like we've touched on it and mentioned it a couple of times throughout the course of this conversation. 2 days to sell a home. I mean, that is remarkable, especially a household that's got 2 children, maybe a couple pets, maybe some disabilities, some challenges. And so to kind of really speak to a satisfied client, I mean, wow, you've got and earned a satisfied client in 2 days, in hopes that they would also share their experience with their sphere, their friends, their family. And so really to kind of hone in, and I've also spent some time speaking with Jen on my follow-up when I close a deal and I deliver my closing package, to also really ask for the business and say, how was your experience? And really put myself out there and to kind of really hear what they enjoyed about it, and maybe what I could have done different, or just kind of their feedback has been really resonating. So I could really build off of that, moving on to, if I do get a phone call from their friends or family, I could really connect those dots.
Terrific. Okay.
Having never used Coming Soon before, after this, I can see the advantages of using this. I could see where we could do registered for maybe a week or so, and then get our pictures on and do Coming Soon for a couple of days, just to generate a lot of activity. Also, importantly, is in the neighborhood to let people know, because before COVID came, we were able to have an open house just for the neighborhood and things like that. And with the Coming Soon, this is kind of takes its place in the neighborhood to let people know. So, and gives them an idea that we are there. So this has been very, very beneficial. So we're going to have to incorporate this into our operations. So.
Let me ask this one, and I didn't have this on the agenda originally. It's my mistake. It's overlooked, and so that's why I want to bring it up. Does everyone utilize the in escrow period to expand the visibility and marketing again? Are you putting out an in escrow? Are you putting a rider on the sign that it's in escrow? How do you approach that phase of your marketing? And are you, again, leveraging this activity for more business?
I don't put it on the sign because I don't want to stop the sign calls from coming in, but I do put it on my farming material because as I'm walking around my farm, I want the neighbors to know, that look, this is what I got going on. This is new, this is an escrow, this is just sold. So I do put it there. I don't send out a postcard though. The only thing that kind of worries me about sending out a postcard is, when it's in escrow, it's kind of like we're celebrating, and heaven forbid it falls out of escrow, then I got a situation where, it's going to take a lot longer when I send out that just sold, postcard, and I don't want anybody thinking about, why was there a certain amount of time. But I certainly do put it on my farming material because I know the farming material, they look at it real quick and then it's probably gone, so I'm giving them that impression that I'm constantly working.
Cool.
Definitely the in escrow period is a good time to utilize social media for exactly that reason. Let's not put it on paper necessarily. In social media, it'll kind of fade into the background, and if it falls out, then it'll be, back to active. So I think that's a good time to blast, even just like, your report card. These are been sold, and this one's in escrow, and this one's coming soon.
Yeah, something like the call to action. Okay, so you sold it. What does that mean to me? Well, I sold it in 3 days. I can help you too, kind of thing.
So when in my community that I sell in, we would put a just listed to start, and then as soon as it goes pending, we switch it to a just pending, or to a sale pending, starburst. I don't know if that's the right thing to do because maybe it like Chris says, it deters phone calls, but we're mostly concerned with our impression just in the community, I think, with getting more listings. So I think it's kind of a catch-22. It's like the price on the flyer. Do you put the price on the flyer? I put the price on the flyer because I think everybody in the community wants to know how much it's going to be listed for. Because I'm expecting everybody in the community to, I guess they could call me, but they might not. So I try to put as much information on the flyer as well. So I don't know. I think it's a debate. But yeah, I like to have like 6 sale pending signs out there on my listing so that everybody in the neighborhood knows that I'm selling.
I agree with Todd, because otherwise people are like, oh my God, why is that house still on the market when everything else is selling?
Yeah, that could be. Again, it's like the price on the flyer. Is it a yes or a no? Do you do it and don't you? Sometimes it's a neighborhood. Sometimes it's a strategy. I'd say the same thing with the signpost. Yeah, you could interpret that. Gosh, it doesn't seem like that house. Everything else is going sold in 5 days, and this one's still on the market. But at the same time, then the negative is it falls out of escrow 2 or 3 times. It's like, why does the thing keep falling out of escrow? So yeah, it's
It's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true. My just listing sometimes, in the past before this kind of market would stay up for like 45, 60 days. It's a 55 plus community. So it was like, when is it going to turn sale pending, and it didn't look good. So I don't know. It's a battle. But then I thought everybody driving through who's just checking out the property will think, oh, it's just listed, so the community knows either way, but the people driving by will still get the impression that it's just listed. So that's how I rationalized it. I don't know.
And it also speaks to who your market is. Who are you trying to communicate with? You know, a buyer, if you want more buyers, then you leave the sale pending sign down so you get some more buyer calls. If you want more listings, then you might put the signpost up, say, wow, that thing was only listed 3 or 4 days. It's in escrow already. Wow, we need to call them. So I guess it tends to play on who your audience is too. Who are you speaking to?
Definitely listings.
Yes.
That actually, Joe, might bring a good point. Maybe we can create, I know Jen has some really good relationships with some local vendors. I think Canyon Lake sign writers that she's facilitated. Maybe we can do a starburst instead of just sale pending. Maybe we can create a custom one, sale pending in less than X amount of days. Call me, I can help you too. I can list your home too. Maybe even that kind of speaks to both and resolves to both sides. I don't know. Just a thought.
Sure. Like that. I like custom. Anything that makes us stand out from what everyone else is doing is great.
I don't know if you guys use Build a Sign that's online, that you can just go on there and make any kind of sign writer that you want, and it's really affordable.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
It's called Build a Sign.
Oh, Build a Sign. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're actually a Berkshire partner. Yeah.
Oh, even better.
That's why I get an email from them every single day.
Yeah, I think we got sold out. I think they gave them our email lists, I think. Okay, well, we're right at an hour. We want to be respectful of our commitment to keeping this down to an hour and brainstorming as much as we can. I asked this question earlier, but one more time. What do you, as the masterminds, want to see us do to support this process to continue developing? How can we help this process continue? We can share these notes, but we really want to define this into a more refined checklist and something that you can use as a tool to walk away with.
I think it's great. I think just an outline of sorts is great to kind of, have it all there so that nothing's missed. And I'm going to start taking advantage more of the coming soon and the marketing part of this. And I'm just getting going with the VAC 2.0. So there's a lot I still need to learn on that. But this all seems very good, though. It's great hearing the ideas from the agents in our office. I love that, and just very helpful, especially for me coming from a place where I wasn't doing a lot of marketing in the past. And so now I'm trying to take advantage of all the Berkshire advertising. And one of the things I know my sellers have really appreciated was the AdWorks, the update on the activity on the AdWorks and the sites that it's on, whether it's on AOL or Amazon. The number of clicks to the site, I mean, that just seems pretty impressive. So I know there's a lot more than just that in the marketing campaign that we've got. So this is fantastic. I'm pretty excited about it, and I appreciate all the agents, the input. That's going to help us to kind of fine tune this thing more.
Terrific, terrific. Well, to that end, 2 comments. One, Jeff and everybody here, super critical now more than ever that your file begins in SkySlope quickly as possible, number 1. But number 2, that your client, your seller's contact information is complete and accurate in SkySlope, because we've integrated AdWorks with SkySlope. So you don't have to go to AdWorks and put in your client's email address. It's going to take it from SkySlope. So if you or your TC go in there and just put johnsmith@aol.com, instead of putting their real email address, your client will never see the benefit of AdWorks. So super critical that your client's email, your seller's email, is in SkySlope as soon as possible, because AdWorks is going to take it from there and send those seller links. Actually place a cookie on your seller's computer And for the entire term of the listing, they're going to see your AdWorks ad the whole time. Even though the rest of the campaign ends in a week, the seller is going to continue to see that ad popping up on their computer for the entire time of the listing. So keep that in mind. And to Chris's comment earlier, really appreciate your insight on the Ready promo. I think that's a place we can really improve that and make some real headway in that. But in thinking about that also, what do you think if I turn this sheet on its side and make it a landscape page with the time frames on the left, with maybe a bunch of these activities on the right that you can kind of connect the dots? Some of these things might be in the register phase, some of them might be in the coming soon phase, to help us move the discussion forward and start figuring out where we're comfortable doing these activities. Would that help?
I 100% agree. I'm a spreadsheet nerd, and so putting this more into a spreadsheet style where we could fill in dates and check things, I like to check things off, is great for me. I don't know about everybody else.
I completely agree. Instead of it being in your head, having it on paper and ticking things off the list. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea as well.
And I think the idea of, if it starts off as a spreadsheet is totally awesome. The VAC 2.0, man, I love the fact that it's so self-contained and it's really simplified my world, and I don't have to go to lots of different places to do different things. And if eventually in the future, this idea of the spreadsheet and the timelines could get folded in, I think it just makes the VAC like that much more powerful of a tool, in that it's all encompassing, with everything that you could possibly need to help keep you organized.
Terrific.
We use VAC 2 a lot too. It's been, even though, I have struggled with technology sometimes, VAC has been very, very simple and easy to use, and it just has so much information and easy to contact our clients and everything. Really, really like the new system a lot. And it's, also our new website. Everything is much, much easier to use. It's a very, very good program.
Terrific. Love the feedback. That's awesome.
Gosh, if Mark ever wanted some testimonials, I just heard some today.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Love that.
Joe, I'm thinking we'll set up Chris Lamry with Mark directly to roll out this new idea. Just get it done.
He's like, I don't have time for that.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what can we do to help move this forward? We'll turn this into a spreadsheet. Should we just share this out and then take some email feedback initially before we schedule the next session? Yeses, nos? I don't know.
You mean to all the other agents, or
to this group?
Just this group.
We want to keep
Email it out.
developing this idea with
and
this
then
group.
okay, yeah. No, I'm on board with that.
Okay. We'll share it out in this list form, but we'll also turn this into a spreadsheet widthwise and share both of those with you and take some feedback on what we can do to keep tweaking it. We want to finalize this, really want this to be a walk-away tool that you can use. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time in putting this together. I know you guys are very busy, but the checklist more than ever, just staying organized. We really value that. I think I can speak for everyone, but I certainly do.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank all of you.
Welcome.
We appreciate you guys taking your time to be a part of this and appreciate your input. This has been fantastic.
I think that eventually this will work into the other agents in our office, but who better to help put it together than the listing agents of each of our offices. So it's been really helpful to have your feedback.
Yes, thank you, all of you guys.
Yeah, it's
Great.
really important to us
Thank you,
to help you guys be more efficient and have that calming effect. Erica, you're talking about having that kind of peace of mind of having the checklist instead of keeping everything in your head. So we appreciate the input and we appreciate participation immensely. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll stop carrying around my big folders. The whole office laughs at me because I could put my timelines on the landwood title folders.
I do that too.
That's what we do.
Well,
I'm
thank
not
you
alone,
all.
Jen.
Thank you, Kim, Chris, Erica, Jeff, Gail, Todd, Jill. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The managers, you know, we spent a lot of time in the background kind of preparing for this, but thank you all for your time. It's very valuable. And have an awesome afternoon.
Thanks for
You
putting it
too.
together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
You bet. Bye-bye.